It would be better to toil and suffer than to be bored. Go experience something.
You come into this world, you get put through the ringer, obviously. There is your real self, your perfect self, unabused in heaven, waiting for you.
I do know that it has to hurt, though. If it makes you feel good, it's not virtue, it's virtue signaling.
People die in car accidents. People get fucking rocked.
Just get through it.
I've been in a position in the past to lose faith. It's a dark thing.
Turn and sprint and forget it.
The golden era of your life is like the one that you're in right now.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it, you'll make it.
And realizing that there's never any champagne popping moment in most of the things that you do.
That's a big one.
This is from Frank Yang. This is a Frank Yang thing. Women with their bodies, just via a biological act that they have naturally, produce the highest thing that can be produced, which is a human life, obviously, okay? And men, all the activity that men do is an attempt to, I don't know, be as good as that. And this is not to denigrate childbirth, but it's built in with them that they can, by default, and there's a lot of nasty people out there being born. Okay, there's a lot of people on OnlyFans shaving their heads, making their husband take their last, these types of things. We're talking about art forms. We're talking about books, movies. There's a lot of bad books. There's a lot of bad movies. There's a lot of bad music. Okay, there's a lot of bad people being born, but the act itself is like the highest act. They have it by default. They don't even have to, it's very difficult. They have to work for it, but it's not something that like they have to spend their whole life striving for, okay? Yeah. So men have to do all this bullshit to come half as close. And I think that my hunch, not having thought about it a lot, is that architecture is the one where the medium or the act is the closest to, it's the closest to giving life. It's creating shelter, it's reaching out to God, it's building it's a collective thing. It's a civilizational thing. I'm not an art historian, so I don't know. Maybe VR games is the highest art form.
Because it has movies, interactive, and it's real.
And a headset.
And a headset.
Frank Yang talked about was, women come from the factory with the ability to create life, which is like their life quest. They have it in them, ready to rip. Men, to achieve the same thing, you have to do all this crazy fucking bullshit.
It's come in your own mouth.
Well, that too.
You have to do self-suck on the wall.
You do self-suck, but then you have to make art, is what he said.
Really?
That's man's way of creating life, which is inferior, is creating art.
By any means necessary?
Yeah, and the word art meaning whatever you want it to mean. Not
culinary art.
Not meaning in a painting. I mean, it just means whatever it is that your life quest is. That's what your creation is. So when you finish something, you get a feeling that you get the same feeling that women do after they give birth sometimes, which is postpartum depression. Do you remember how you felt after world peace was done?
Yeah.
I felt pretty drained.
Yeah, I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Since my job is easy, any ideas kind of bored.
Read some books, but don't be bored. If you're sitting there being bored, that is really not good. Read some books, dive headlong into some interest, figure out what's out there in the world. Go do something physical. You have to do something physical. Go lift weights or do
get jacked.
BJJ. Even if you don't become a super fit guy, you want to at least know what it's like to really test your body out at some point in that way, if you know what I mean. Go be active and live life. Don't sit there and be bored. If you're bored, that's actually a really bad thing.
Yeah.
Being bored is really, really bad. You don't want to be bored. It's like, it would be better to toil and suffer and have a job that's than to be bored.
Yeah, I agree.
Go experience something.
Hey Sam, a while ago I was diagnosed with cancer and I have chemotherapy Wednesday. I'm wondering if you have any advice for me to cheer me up. Chemo is horrible and I'm already losing my hair.
Well, look, man, just when the first time you do chemo, just remember it's a rush, dude. Look, man, just get through it. You got to do it. Listen, does chemo, that hurts, right?
Yeah, I'm
it like
sure
burns.
It's like, you're like poisoning your body to kill the cancer cells.
Yeah, just get through it, brother. Just suck it up. You'll be okay though. Just has to be done. It's like getting in a car accident. You got to do it. You got to do it once in a while. Just keep yourself salty, crispy, fresh, icy. But you'll make it. Don't worry. I guarantee it. I guarantee it you'll make it. But I do guarantee that you'll make it, though. I do guarantee it.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise. I'm making that. That's a hard statement, but I'm making that promise. You will survive your cancer. Do not die from the cancer.
My father taught me to turn and sprint and forget it. When like something fucks up happen, if you stay there and you like try to shake the cage or turn it back to you, you're gonna drive yourself fucking nuts. You just gotta take off, bro. What I'm trying to convey to you, brother, is something that like helped me pretty big. Was like just turn and dust it. You know what I mean? Because if you try to make sense of it, it's things that are fucked up, you're gonna get fucking roasted, bro. It sucks. It sucks. But you know, and you just can use that antidote for whatever you want. But I watch like people try to like, and then you get into like this maybe it's me thing. And for any of you guys going through some shit, I think like sitting around and scratching your head is the worst fucking thing to do. I think pulling yourself out and going and mourning and grieving in your own way and sort of like coming to terms with your own grievances in your own way, in a healthy way, is the way to do it. People die in car accidents. People get fucking rocked. And, you know.
Managing expectations and having, and realizing that there's never any champagne popping moment in most of the things that you do creatively is a very depressing reality.
That's a big one. And I remember back when we were in our 20s, you wanted that champagne popping moment.
And it just never came.
And I could have used it as well. And it did never come. Can you believe that?
No.
Isn't that crazy?
There's never anything that was like, oh, this is it. I thought it was, I popped the champagne myself 5 times in my own head.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, when we like met Will Sasso, I was like, oh, well, obviously we're going to be movie stars now.
Yeah, man.
I just met Will Sasso and shot a video with him, so clearly I'm going to be famous tomorrow.
Yeah.
When the New York Times calls, what am I going to say? There's never a moment where you get to kind of enjoy, honestly, in anything.
Yeah.
Other than children, for me, because it was great. Children is very champagne popping.
In life, your expectations and the climax that you anticipate not being there.
If you really think that certain things are going to be like that, it's going to be a big down. I'm precautionary to dudes that don't know a thing. Like, it's things that you think are going to be the shit. Like, oh, this is going to be so fat. And you're like, dude, it's not.
Yeah. That reaction, it's going to be so fat, is going to be spread out over 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to come with a lot of various price tags that you didn't anticipate.
Like, oh, in the end of the day, that was a lot of hours, et cetera, et cetera. And there was zero upside or enjoyment.
People who complain about that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, at the end of the day, after you do all this, that's what you're left with sometimes is like, man, I lost 2 of my favorite t-shirts.
I don't know if I'm happy. What does happy even mean? I don't want to get too happy, but I'm definitely tranquil and appreciative for everything that I've been given by God.
Oh, yeah.
You know what happy's actually for?
What?
Happy's for when you're playing Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's cozy outside, when mommy and daddy are bringing you snacks, you're playing Fallout 3.
Yep.
I call that happy time. I say, that's happy time. That's happy time for me.
What is my advice? What is my advice for parenthood? It's beautiful and it's wonderful that you're even able still to procreate, because the next generation probably won't be able to, if you want my dark prophecy. So you need the praying and the bolstering and the fortification of faith. I've been in a position in the past to lose faith, and it's just a dark thing. And I am always in the position of relearning or refilling myself after being emptied. I'll be honest with you. Enjoy the ride. It's fun, and it must be enjoyed. It must be enjoyed, and do not be afraid, because if you are afraid, it means that you are faithless. You see what I'm saying? I have no better description of faith. My faith, I've struggled with faith, very much so, over the past several years. So I can't even give a better definition of it yet, because I'm still recovering. So you need to not be afraid and not worry, and learn how to pray and learn how to get everything right with the Lord. That is what is essential. I want to put that forth. I'm not Mr. total faith right now. I try, but I'm only a man. And I try. I try to step into the shoes of the perfect self who is your unabused soul that will exist even after you leave this world. You come into this world, you get put through the ringer, obviously. But there is your real self, your perfect self that is unabused in heaven, waiting for you. I try to tap into that. Everyone has a feeling of knowing the right thing to do. I'm not talking about thinking about it in language in your head. If you got language going around in your head, then you got straight up other voices talking to you that aren't even your own. It's a feeling, it's a knowing that is wisdom and the right thing to do. I just have to say that.
You have to learn to enjoy the work and the process. Be aware of the fact that the golden era of your life is like the one that you're in right now. Like you're going to be looking back on your current experience. The 7-Eleven hot dogs you're eating right now, that's like the icon of the golden era of your life that you're going to be looking back on. And it's a good thing. I'm not saying this is like a depressing thing. I'm saying you have to learn to enjoy the struggle, because that's all that there really is. Like,
You got to smell the roses. I was cutting my grass the other day, and I said to myself, I don't know if it gets any better than this. I swear to God.
It doesn't.
It was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
I had like a large iced coffee that I made in my like 𝐾𝐘𝐌 brew. And I was like just having this Goomba moment. I was like, look at this. It's a fucking nice day.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful out. I'm cutting crisp lines in my beautiful green grass that didn't fuck me over in the end of the year. It was crisp yellow. Came back, it's green again. I'm coming every day. I put a ton of fertilizer down. And I'm just a boomer idiot, and I get it.
You have to squeeze that out of your life, because you're not gonna get another life. You're probably not gonna get a better life.
How would you define virtue? Please, I'm desperate, Sam.
Virtue is when you get that ooey gooey Nestle Crunch feeling and you just can't shake it. I do know that it has to hurt though. If it makes you feel good, it's not virtue, it's virtue signaling. It's only virtue if it comes at a cost to you.
But like this whole summer, it was really hot.
Yeah.
And I was driving the Ram around, which doesn't have AC and it has cloth seats. And I was going to the boxing gym followed by the sauna. So I was like soaking the seat in this truck. Like there's been so much of my liquid that's gone through the seat of that truck.
That's your truck now.
And it's like the summer was like going up to the fight. It was like completely gruelingly miserable. Like I'd come in here, I'd squeeze shirts out. Like I hate being wet, but like giving into it, like there's no way I'm not going to be not wet right now. Like I have to just ignore this and just, I'm wet.
Like walking in the rain.
It's what it is. I'm fucking soaked wet and all my shit stinks.
What am I going to do about it?
And then from there, like enjoying the heat. That's my point. And I think your point too, is that you can't, the moment like thinking about how in 10 years you're going to be aight. That's not what, you're not going to be aight in 10 years.
No, it never happens.
It never happens. It gets different, but you're not going to be different.
That like you just get older and no one really figured this out thing that was like a big like echo chamber from like 2007 movies, like Judd Apatow movies. Like, so, dude, everybody just grows up and no one tells you how to do it.
Yeah.
That old like Reddit thread.
So you got to start enjoying your life now, even when it's miserable. You have to learn where to pull the enjoyment from.